The team decided pretty quickly, okay, we're going to shut the water off, but don't tell Walt, which is a big theme in this story. Nobody wants to tell Walt anything. And, you know, I wonder why.
We've already packed your bags, sweetie. Yes, it's happening. We're all going to Disneyland. Our associate producer, sound designer, research assistant, and my brother, Riley Swedelius-Smith, is here to tell our producer, Miranda Zickler, and me about the chaotic opening day of The Happiest Place on Earth in 1955. You may know Riley's storytelling skills from our subscribers-only podcast, Hysteria Home Companion, where he has become quite the beloved presence. And we are thrilled that he is finally making his premiere on the main feed. We'll learn about the many quirks of Walt Disney, the events that unfolded as he tried to build his ludicrous, cartoonish dream, and how everything went down when it was finally time to present the park to the American public, live on television. I'm your host, Chelsey Weber-Smith, along with my podcast dream team, and this is American Hysteria. Well, I am so excited to get going on an episode that has been a very long time coming. And I would like to introduce officially for his true first episode on the feed, our associate producer, sound designer, researcher, Riley Swedelius-Smith, also my brother.
Hello.
So excited that you're here, Riley.
All true. It's all true.
The rumors are true.
Yeah.
I'm happy to be here.
We're also here with our beautiful producer and editor, Miranda Zickler.
Hello.
Who you'll also know as the producer of You're Wrong About. And You Are Good. And this is our little podcast family right here. This is the whole team of American Hysteria.
The whole team.
It's a family band. And yeah, Riley's been doing episodes with us on our subscribers only show, Hysteria Home Companion.
Which I would just like to say is like my favorite name of anything you've ever named, Chelsey. And you've named some really good names. But Hysteria Home Companion is really, it's excellent.
Very good. Yes, I agree.
It's also funny when you consider that I barely know what Prairie Home Companion is.
That's true about you.
But I do know a good play on words when I find one. So, all right, we're going to get into a topic that I know just a little about. We talked about it just a little in our episode we did a million years ago called Disneyfication, which would be a great companion to this episode. Mm-hmm. But we are talking about, drum roll fucking please, Riley.
Disneyland.
Yeah!
We're going to Disneyland, everybody.
We're going to Disneyland.
I want everyone to picture, okay, you are a child. You wake up, it's 4 a.m. Your parents have your suitcases packed and they say, "You think you're going to school today?" "No. We're going to Disneyland."
And you don't yet know the terrors of capitalism.
No.
So you're just really excited.
And, you know, I'm sure the terrors of capitalism are going to come up in this episode.
They sure are.
They always do.
We're not doing a pro-Disneyland episode, but we're talking about specifically, Riley.
We're talking about the opening day of Disneyland. As Dr. John Hammond says in Jurassic Park, you know, Disneyland, nothing worked on the opening day. And then Jeff Goldblum says, yeah, but the small world children don't come and eat you if the ride breaks down or something like that.
Yes, that's a good point. It's a good point.
But it was infamously a disaster.
And we love a disaster. We love a train wreck. It's its own fire fest in a way. So yeah, I think, Riley, where should we start? Let's get into it. And yeah, I'm just really excited.
We're going to start in the late 1930s with the premiere of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, which I haven't seen for years. Have you?
Is that one of the ones that was animated on glass?
That's a good question. It might have been. I know that it was the first feature-length animated film, which was a huge deal at the time.
Yeah.
And it was an enormous success. And the kind of germ of the Disneyland idea came from the marketing campaign, because somebody had an idea to make what was called Dwarfland. And it was located right across the street from the theater where the premiere was held. It cost $7 million to build in the late 1930s, which seems crazy because it was kind of only like one little cottage.
Okay.
Oh my God.
And it wasn't really like a land, like a theme park that, you know, you go and you walk around and you buy things. My understanding, it was kind of like almost a traffic circle that you kind of drove around.
Okay.
And the NBC reporter that was reporting on it live at the time said, outside are giant mushrooms 3 feet tall, painted yellow and blue and pink. And then there are weird looking trees with eyes that light up and long arms that reach out and grab you just the way they grab at Snow White in the picture.
Wow. I can't say I wouldn't have enjoyed going to that.
Yeah.
Despite its problematic nature.
Well, yes, they hired actual people to play the dwarves in medieval costume and mining gear.
Oh, dear.
So
okay.
they would put on a show and sing and dance for the children.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Strong start.
But it's really, I think, really the key to understanding Disneyland and a lot of Walt Disney as a person was that Disneyland was really a vessel for Walt Disney to build a big railroad.
Really?
That's really, at the end of the day, all he wanted.
Okay.
Why didn't he just build a railroad?
He did, actually.
A lot of potchki around this railroad.
Yeah, exactly.
He did build a railroad in 1949 in his backyard. And it was called the Lily Bell, which was named after his wife. And it was insane. It was enormous. There was a tunnel. There was a trestle. There was an overpass.
Wow.
And apparently his wife Lily's garden was like in the way. So that's why he had to build the tunnel, is to like go underneath it.
Wait. I have to ask, what size of a train are we talking here? Is this a mini train? A normal size train?
Excellent question. It is a miniature train.
Okay.
It is a miniature train, but it's like not as miniature as you'd think, right? It's not like two full-sized adults can be in any given car.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So this isn't your like man cave train. Okay.
No, it's a full train.
All right.
And he would have parties, and, you know, friends of his, employees would come and bring their kids, and they'd ride around on the train. And there's a great article by a journalist called Bosley Crowther, which is a fantastic name.
Really good.
And he went to visit Walt and look at his trains, and he wrote an article. And there's a quote from this article where he says, Disney is almost wholly, weirdly concerned with the building of a miniature railroad engine and a string of cars. I came away feeling sad.
Oh no.
All right. Yep. Okay. So we're getting a picture of the man.
Getting a picture of the man.
The myth, the legend.
He's a Rayleigh, that's the proper nomenclature. So the Lily Bell, he closed it down in 1953 because there was actually an accident while he was having a house party.
Oh my God.
And the train derailed because somebody was driving it too fast. And there was a little girl on board that she's fine. It's okay. But she fell off. Okay. She fell off.
She's
and
dead
she got,
now, but
she got partially burnt by the steam from the engine.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
So Disney was like horrified, and he said, never again until I have my own theme park and all the proper insurance.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, she's kind of like the original boiling hot McDonald's coffee girly. Which, by the way, that woman deserved that money.
Yes.
We'll cover that sometime.
A tale for another time.
But I guess we didn't have such a hot lawsuit culture back then.
Hot lawsuit.
So people kind of say at this point in his life that Walt Disney was trying to kind of look for the next big thing. And there were a number of things in his life that were inspirational in dreaming up Disneyland. And the first one was probably the 1939 Chicago World's Fair, which someday I think we have to do like a 10-part series on that because it's absolutely incredible.
We have to.
Yeah.
It's probably like both of our number one dream.
Yeah,
it's that, and I want to do American Jesus.
Yeah.
So, the two wolves inside me.
There were these pieces of art at the Chicago World's Fair called Thorn Rooms, and they were miniatures. They were miniature rooms that were decorated, and you can actually look them up. They're still, pretty much all of them are in existence, and they've all kind of been dispersed across the country.
Cool.
But they were just really elaborate miniatures, and Walt loved miniatures.
As do we.
Yeah.
But I think he wanted to make a big miniature. I think that's what Disneyland really is at its heart.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
There was also a 1948 movie that I'm told is not very good called So Dipped in My Heart that Disney just loved because it kind of took place at the turn of the century. And it invoked these images of his youth, the kind of rural Americana, the the town square, the steam engine railroad, all those things that he loved. And another of his inspirations was actually Henry Ford's house.
Oh, good.
There it is.
Enter the Nazi, Henry Ford. Yep.
Just like Walt turned his backyard into a railroad, Henry Ford turned his backyard into an old-timey village called Greenfield Village.
What?
It's in Dearborn, Michigan. And I think you can still go there. I tried to look it up.
Whoa.
I didn't find a lot of information.
Oh my God.
But it appears to be part of his estate museum that you can still go and see.
Okay, so I'm sensing a pattern here of rich men in the 30s building little weird theme parks in their backyard.
Yeah, acting on their whims.
Yeah, and I guess that's a particularly offensive during the Great Depression. But,
yeah,
what can you do?
Potemkin villages.
Yes.
The Potemkin village effect of the king commissioning a little fake town to hide all of the poverty.
Yes.
Great point. Mm-hmm.
But it would take some serious post-war money to get this thing off the ground.
Yeah.
And that was, despite how wealthy Disney was and how wealthy his company was, that was a big deal of, this thing would cost a lot of money, but we're getting a little ahead of ourselves. So first of all, Disney decided that he did want to build a park. And at this point, it was called Mickey Mouse Park.
Ugh.
The first place that he wanted to put it was actually in Burbank on the studio backlot, the Disney studio backlot. But that's only 2.5 acres, which is
no
significantly small.
Yeah.
But it's one of these ideas that just clearly snowballed. It's a train, it's a town. No, it's a theme park, So every single plan that they'd make, every site they'd look at, it's like, in a few days or a week, it would be obsolete because the idea was getting bigger all the time. And there was a lot of pushback in the various places in California that Disney was looking because, theme parks back then, most people thought of Coney Island. So they kind of thought, it'd be an unsavory atmosphere, a carnival atmosphere.
Yeah.
And we don't want that here.
Right.
I do.
Imagine how much better it'd be if Disneyland had a Midway, right?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
We could have some strippers there. Yeah. On the Midway.
That was something that Walt was very adamant that there would be no Midway. There'd be no thrill rides. There'd be no generic rides, meaning that every ride had to have a theme, which for me is the part of Disneyland that I love the most.
Yeah.
Is that the story and the theming on every single ride are so elaborate and so much part of that experience.
Yeah.
I think that's what sets it
Totally.
apart from any other theme park or carnival.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Walt was also told he was crazy because he wanted there to be one entrance to the park. It's like, if anybody thinks of like their local county fair, it's got like 6 entrances, right? 6 different gates you can go through. But Disney had this idea that he wanted to control the experience. So when you walk into the park, it's a guided experience. First, you have to walk through Main Street.
Right.
Anybody listening, next time you go to Disneyland, think about this, because every single piece of the journey is artificial. It's constructed,
Right.
Like the trees are in the exact right place so that the first glimpse of the Sleeping Beauty castle you get is at the exact moment that Walt Disney wanted you to get it. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
And you can choose whether you turn left into Frontierland or right into, oh my God, Tomorrowland. Thank you. Yeah. But other than that,
You guys got it. You got the map locked. Yeah.
I know. I'm not proud of it.
Whatever. This is the truth. The truth is that all three of us love Disneyland and we know that it's a problem and we all have things to work on in this
And
life.
we are not Disney adults.
We are sorry. And
not
if
that
you
there's
are,
anything wrong with
that's fine.
all of you Disney adults out there.
We're Disneyland
That's lovely.
people and there's plenty to critique about that. So if you have a critique, we already feel it. We already know it.
My lovely wife Callie said to me last night, "Everyone's going to think you're a Disney adult now." Okay.
No.
Buckle up.
No.
Yeah. So this is when we come into Anaheim, which, before Disneyland was not a place, really. It was a very quiet, very small town. And it was kind of only in the early 50s that it kind of became connected to Los Angeles when the Santa Ana Freeway was constructed. And, the city leadership was looking for the city to grow. They were looking for new industry to come in. And, Disney kind of wooed them and they allowed that. And eventually a deal was kind of struck. After they suggested one site in the city that was next to a funeral home, Disney was like, no. And they gave him another site. And then he had to go through this elaborate process of buying up the land. And anybody who knows about the story of Disney World knows that the land had to be bought in secret, because they knew at that point, they're making another Disneyland. But at this time, there was no Disneyland. But people still knew who Walt Disney was. And when word got out that he was buying parcels of land, all these spectators came in and started buying the land that he wanted just to jack up the price, which I think is kind of fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
Good for them. You got to shoot your shot, And something I thought was amusing is that the only kind of condition that Anaheim gave Disney to build this park is they said, well, we're having a town parade and we're going to have you supply floats.
Wow.
Nice.
And he's like, do you realize how little money that is compared to what I'm trying to do here?
Yeah, no problem.
So it was about $6,000 an acre, which sounds like a lot in 1953.
How many acres is Disneyland? Do you have any idea?
Apparently they don't know for sure.
Whoa.
What?
Somewhere between 500 and 550 acres.
Wow.
That's spooky. What are the 50 extra little acres?
I think that's the hotel, which is called Downtown Disney now.
Oh.
Yeah, maybe they don't know what to count.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it's more of like a hotel in a mall.
Okay.
So it's not really like part of the theme park.
Oh, I know Downtown Disney. There used to be a Rainforest Cafe there, but there isn't anymore. That's what I'll say.
I've never been to Downtown Disney. I'd love to go.
It's nice because you can go after the parks close sometimes. I'm going to stop talking about this.
All right. So now it's about the money. How did we get the money? So Walt, in the early 1950s, the situation is that Walt Disney Productions, the studio, had gone public in 1940. And so he kind of didn't have as much control as he once did. There are all these shareholders involved now, and he's not the autocrat I'm sure he wishes he could be. But the thing that's interesting to kind of understand the behind the scenes at Disney is the relationship between Walt Disney and his brother Roy. Did you guys know that he had a brother?
I did know he had a brother.
A lot of people don't because he's, the other Disney. Roy and Walt, there's about 8 years difference. Just same as you and I, Chelsey.
Which one am I then?
Who's the Roy and who's the Walt?
Roy is the older one.
Ugh.
Oops.
I guess I'm Roy.
They always had kind of a contentious relationship.
Just like us.
Roy saw himself as somebody who protected Walt. Walt saw Roy as an annoying older brother that didn't let him have any fun.
Just like Sorry, I'll stop doing that.
From the standpoint of their employees, Roy was the approachable one, as you can guess. Relaxed, even-tempered, not Walt. And when Walt brought Roy the Disneyland idea, he said this later, it's a direct quote, he thought it was just another one of Walt's screwy ideas. And he predicted, which I think ultimately came true a little bit, that after Disneyland was finished, that it still wouldn't be satisfying for him. That it still wouldn't be enough because he was just always, nothing was ever enough.
Yeah, he had some kind of giant
mouse-shaped hole inside of it. Yeah.
I think so. So Walt just had to badger Roy relentlessly in order to get Roy on board, because he knew that if he got Roy on board, he could get the funding, because Roy was good at that and he was good with people. So Roy kept saying no. And then Walt started threatening that he'd get money in all these sordid ways, like borrowing from his own life insurance policy and anything you can think of. And Roy was like, okay, I guess I have no choice but to go into this crazy idea with you. But the real kind of knockout idea that Roy had was to go into television in order to get their money. And bearing in mind that TV was really new at this time, and Disney had never had a presence on television before, there were all these networks super interested in pretty much anything. They're like, give us any show.
Sure.
So Walt decided that he would do a show in order to make money for Disneyland, but he also decided that the show would be an advertisement for Disneyland. It would be about the creation of the park. And it was actually called Disneyland.
Wow. That's a really good idea.
It's a great idea. And, they were kind of thought that the networks wouldn't go for it, but Disney, the name Disney had enough power behind it that it was welcomed. And he kind of tested the water, Walt, first by doing a Christmas show in 1952. And then they kind of went forward after that. And the format of the show is kind of like a variety show. There'd be a large segment on what's going on at the studio, what they're working on. Sometimes they'd also give previews to new movies. And then sometimes they would have original content. And this is the point where we have to talk about Davy Crockett.
I knew that was going to come up.
Did you?
No, I did not know.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Davy Crockett. That was the only video I was allowed to watch in the house where my next door neighbor friends lived, and they were so religious, their family, that we couldn't watch Rugrats because there was a baby's butt on one of the episodes. So we could only watch Davy Crockett, King of the Wild Frontier.
I actually had a friend when I was a kid that was a similar situation. He was only allowed to watch The Wizard of Oz. He had one tape. That's
a pretty good one movie,
But it's like I'd always forget, and I'd be like, oh, did you see on TV last night? And he'd say, no. Do you remember that part in The Wizard of Oz? I'm like, yeah, I do.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I mean, it's a scary movie, actually.
Yeah, it's a weird one.
That movie's scary. Anyway, please continue with Davy Crockett.
Davy Crockett. This all started to make so much sense to me when I read this because, I've seen Back to the Future 300 times or something. And the part where, he goes to the past, and there's that part where he's at his own family's dinner table, his mom and his grandparents and her brothers. And one of her brothers is wearing the Davy Crockett hat. And then later, when Marty goes into the cafe, they're playing the Davy Crockett song. And I remember thinking for years and years, like, why so much Davy Crockett stuff? Like, why, 2 is weird. Why not just one reference? And that's because in the mid 1950s, America was in the full throes of Davy Crockett mania.
Wow. Wow. Okay. All right.
What we're really here to talk about today.
So the production team had this idea early on with the Disneyland show that they should do a weekly segment about different American folk heroes. And Davy Crockett, I think not a folk hero, but he was the first one that they picked, and they brought it to Walt, and he said, I don't get it. And they said, what don't you get? And he says, well, what does he do except for like kill people?
I actually had the same question.
He just killed people. That's it.
That's it?
That's as far as I can tell.
Whew.
Was he just like a tool of Western expansion type of guy?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we do love those.
And he wasn't killing white people.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by that.
Right. No, I wouldn't think so.
He's probably one of the people in like the Wild West shows. If he was like maybe not in it himself, but maybe he was part of the, let's see, I want to know.
Davy Crockett heads, sound off in the comments.
Crockett heads, sound off. No, he was not in. No, he was in Davy Crockett, King of the Wild Frontier, which is what I referenced a second ago and what you're referencing now.
King of the Wild Frontier. For some reason, this just really caught on. And every source I read made the comparison that Davy Crockett mania in like 1953, 54, 55 was as big as Elvis a few years later, which is just a demonstration of how culturally bland we were at that time.
Yeah.
God, that and how much cultural amnesia we have. Like, how could we have forgotten about Davy Crockett, the king of
the wild frontier?
We just need kings. We need a king all the time. One king after another, right? Because Elvis is king of
something.
Rock and roll.
Yeah.
Something.
Isn't that right?
Kings all the way down.
He was called the king.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Okay.
He didn't call himself that, though. I just like to point out.
Sure.
You know what? For a democratic society, we sure love to make people kings of things.
Yeah.
I know.
Or princes, or
we're descended from you guys, you Brits.
You're right.
You did it.
This is largely our fault.
Sorry.
That's what I always say.
So the thing about Davy Crockett is that you can't register his name as a trademark. So even though Disney was making plenty of money off of the show and off of advertising, they couldn't necessarily make money off of Davy Crockett, but they did anyway. They just decided that, if one person was selling a t-shirt that said Davy Crockett, but they were selling a t-shirt that said Disneyland Davy Crockett or Disney's Davy Crockett, then people would probably buy that one because it's official.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the raccoon skin hat, every boy in America wanted one of those. Mm-hmm. So Disney started producing them, but then there was a shortage of raccoon skins.
So they were real raccoon skins. They weren't like the plush kind of version. Okay. All right.
Boo.
Yeah. We don't like that.
So the team made some calls and ended up locating a warehouse on the East Coast full of raccoon skins that couldn't be sold. Whoever owned them couldn't get rid of them. And in my mind, it's just Charlie and Frank from Always Sunny.
Yeah. We got all these raccoon skins. What are we going to do?
And then interestingly, this is the company Mattel. This is where Mattel becomes a big thing because the only successful toy they had created up to that point was a little ukulele. And they got the official Disney contract for Davy Crockett merch. And that made them the juggernaut they are today.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's all it takes.
So now that we've got some money, we've got a site to work on. It's time for the design to start being worked on.
Okay.
And this is when Disney started kind of poaching artists from his own studio. He knew that he couldn't use the studio to make Disneyland, so he founded his own company called WED Enterprises. WED, W-E-D, stands for Walter Elias Disney. So he gradually just started taking people literally from one company, plucking them in the other, and people who didn't really have any experience with amusement parks. But that's kind of what he wanted because he wanted to start from scratch. He didn't want people that were going to give him cookie cutter rides or the same sort of affair that you'd have at any given carnival. So he had his actual artists working on things. He first worked up a visual plan with an artist that was the first time that the lands were kind of laid out. Frontierland, Adventureland, Tomorrowland, Fantasyland. Mm-hmm. And the artist he was working with asked, what do you want it to look like? And the only real instruction Walt gave him was, I just want it to look like nothing else in the world. And it should be surrounded by a train.
A train to work. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that train is a helpful way to get around Disneyland.
Absolutely.
I don't even think about the train.
More after this. And now back to the show.
This is the drawing that got Walt the contract with ABC, which is how the Disneyland show came about. And as we know now, Disney owns ABC. So that was the start of that beautiful relationship.
Yeah, that beautiful monopoly.
This is also the time at WED Enterprises that Disney coined the phrase Imagineers.
I was wondering if that was a 90s term. It felt like they maybe brought that in the 90s, but apparently not.
I actually shouldn't have said that he coined it because he stole it from a different company called Alcoa. But yeah, Imagineer imagination plus engineer. It's not rocket science. Yeah.
It's train science.
What'd you say?
I said it's train science. Thank you.
Walt, when he was designing the park, had these visible anchors. The Sleeping Beauty Castle was one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And actually another one was this thing called the Moonliner, which was the centerpiece of Tomorrowland. It was a giant aluminum fake rocket ship. And it was actually, at that point, the tallest structure in the park.
Oh.
Which some people don't know because you assume it's the castle.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And a thing that he also felt very strongly about was that the park should be like immaculately maintained. It should look lived in. So it should have fully grown trees, fully grown bushes, and like a round the clock maintenance team to make it look absolutely perfect all the time. And everyone said, you're crazy. That's a waste of money. But in order to save some money doing this, he actually used a lot of the existing orange grove trees that were already on the site.
Okay.
Oh.
Orange County, California gets its name from these orange trees. So these trees were moved around. And there's actually also a very kind of cute story about a family that lived at the Disneyland site before it was Disneyland. And they sold to Walt Disney, but they had a huge tree, this beautiful tree in their backyard. And they asked Disney as a stipulation of the sale if he would keep it because so many of their members of their family had gotten married under it, and Disney obliged. And it's located by the Indiana Jones ride today.
Wow. Huh.
Oh, that is nice.
The tree was planted in 1896, so it's the oldest living thing at Disneyland.
Wow.
Whoa.
You know, I kind of imagine that one of the reasons that he was so obsessed with like cleanliness and perfection was because he wanted to differentiate it from places like Coney Island, which is kind of the only other precedent there was for anything like this. So it makes sense. I mean, I'm sure it's part of his personality mainly, but it does make sense that you would be obsessed with just distancing yourself as much as possible from these like very non-kid friendly types of parks.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Another weird fact about Walt Disney is that his favorite food was hot dogs. And he ate mostly hot dogs, is what I understand.
Huh.
And when he was designing the park...
Somebody get Jamie Loftus on the horn.
When he was designing the park's layout, for some reason, all of the attractions, his name for them was weenies.
What?
So he's like, oh, there's going to be a weenie here and a weenie there. 3 weenies in Fantasyland.
Stupid. Oh my God.
That's really stupid. All right. Weenies for everyone.
So this is the point in which they decided that they have to get like a proper workshop together because they were working out of an old boxcar, which is insane.
Trains.
Wow. And Disney knew that they needed some space, especially once they started building models. And so one of the members of the team found this warehouse building close to the site, or close enough, that was made out of corrugated metal. And he brought this to Walt because he knew that Walt wouldn't spend the money for like, a proper building, a proper facility. So Walt said, hey, okay, this place is cheap. But they were, of course, worried that it would be hot being in California inside a corrugated metal building. So Walt Disney had a series of water pipes installed that were meant to like bring water through the building and keep it cool. But all it ended up doing was producing hot steam.
No.
And also the pipe started leaking. So the entrance to the building, you had to like walk through a waterfall.
Wow.
In order to get there. So it was wet, steamy, and hot. And several of the model makers got heat stroke.
Wow.
No.
Walking under a waterfall is kind of appropriate for working at Disneyland.
Yeah.
But you hope it's more pleasant.
The team decided pretty quickly, okay, we're going to shut the water off. But don't tell Walt, which is a big theme in this story. Nobody wants to tell Walt anything. And, I wonder why. Huh?
Yeah.
Nobody wanted to tell Hitler anything either.
Yep.
That was the thing.
Also, Walt was known to visit them a lot. And people describe him, he's like a child. Like anything they were working on, he would pick up and play with and then drop and break. And so anytime that they knew that Walt Disney was coming to the shop, the model makers would glue their models down to the tables that he physically couldn't pick them up.
Wow.
Fuck.
This guy. God. Okay.
So Walt at this point then has to reach out to some partners to bring some more people on the team. One guy, Admiral Joe Fowler, was brought on board to design the Mark Twain, the 1850s style Mississippi steam-powered riverboat that goes across the rivers of America. And the company Aero Development was brought on board to create miniature cars for things like Mr. Toad's Wild Ride and Autopia. Did you guys ever go on Mr. Toad?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't get to. It was gone.
Straight to hell, baby.
I'm too young.
It's scary. It's a scary ride.
Another thing about Walt is, he insisted on being called Walt. And if anybody ever called him Mr. Disney, he'd say, the only Mr. here is Mr. Toad. You're into that sort of thing, right?
I'm into Mr. Toad.
You're into that perverted sort of thing.
So construction begins.
Dun, dun, dun.
And another whiny Walt Disney story is that while construction was taking place, and bearing in mind, Disneyland was announced in late 1952 with an opening date of July 1955. So it's a very protracted schedule. And, even I think up until probably March or April of 1955, it was not really looking like this would happen. It was a very short schedule to get such a massive park off the ground. And when Walt would come to the site and walk around, he would say to his team, when is Disneyland going to look like something other than a hole in the ground?
Jeez.
What a dick.
Whiny weenie.
Yeah. God.
There he is.
You are annoying.
And then Admiral Joe, the nautical expert working on the Mark Twain, he at some point realized, you know what? A actual vessel that's actually in the water is going to need regular maintenance, and that can't be done underwater. Most ships have a dry dock. We're going to have to build a dry dock. And Disney was like, really? Can't you do it at the model shop? And he was like, no, we can't bring the full ship to the model shop. And so Walt Disney relented, but the dry dock, every time Disney was giving a tour of Disneyland, he would point to the dry dock and call it Joe's Pit.
Wow.
Wow.
The official name for it
Petty.
today at Disneyland is Fowler's Harbor.
That's nicer, I suppose.
He also had kind of a meltdown around this time where he got up. First of all, he had his own observation platform created so that he could get up high and complain about how bad Disneyland looked. And one day, somebody who was there with him says that he went up on his platform and said, with a tear in his eye, half my money gone and nothing to show for it. Nothing.
Okay.
God. He almost sounds like Cal from Titanic or something.
Yeah. It's like a very mustache twirly kind of. So another thing that Walt got from the 39 Chicago World's Fair is the use of corporate sponsorship, which, wasn't, it was a thing on like TV and radio back then, but at theme parks, it was kind of a new idea. So Disney immediately started going for all the big ones, Coca-Cola and stuff like that. But they were really wary. People in the industry, especially in Hollywood, were calling Disneyland Walt's Folly. They thought it was going to be a complete disaster. It was completely going to ruin him, and nobody wanted to get in on the ground floor. But finally, somebody had the idea, maybe we should go for some smaller companies. They went for Carnation Ice Cream, which agreed to open an ice cream shop on Main Street. They went to Fritos, who opened a Mexican-themed restaurant also on Main Street.
Right.
I imagine that was pretty bland Mexican food, quote-unquote Mexican food. He also got Transfield Airlines, Richfield Oil, Kaiser Aluminum, and then finally bigger companies. Kodak Film came in, and finally Coca-Cola. And Chicken of the Sea actually competed with another tuna company to open a tuna sandwich restaurant at Disneyland.
Gross. Sorry. I just don't like tuna.
And this is something I think is completely bizarre, because you think of Disney being like so squeaky clean. There was a bra shop on Main Street.
Wow.
Huh.
It was actually called an intimate apparel shop. And it was opened by the Hollywood Maxwell Brazier Company of Los Angeles. And they had a talking animatronic figure that would greet you as you walked in. And he was called the Wizard of Bras.
So it was a guy. It was a guy animatron.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Well, we have to have a man welcome us into the bra store so we know that it's safe.
And interesting kind of footnote here is that Ray Kroc, who had just started making McDonald's what it is today, wrote a letter to Walt Disney and saying, hey, can we open up a McDonald's at Disneyland? And Walt did not respond.
Wow. Wow.
That is what it is.
That's crazy.
So back in the 1930s, when movies were still his main gig, he had a problem. Well, he called it a problem in that his workers wanted to unionize.
Uh-oh.
And he did not take this very well.
Really?
And I don't remember the full story, but I think most of them got fired.
Oh, God.
He hated unions. And he was afraid until the opening day that the Disneyland workers would unionize. They did not, but, Walt had what he called union problems on the job. One of them was that there was a plumber's strike that was happening in early 1955. And it actually got to the point where Walt had to choose, do we have drinking fountains or do we have toilets?
Right. Yes. I remember this. Yeah.
And he chose toilets, which I think is the only choice.
Yeah.
And his rationale, he said, quote, they can drink Coke and Pepsi, but they can't pee in the streets.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess Coke and Pepsi have a lot of water in them.
Yeah, but it seems to be a foreign concept of actually selling bottled water at this time.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. History of bottled water, that's something to dig into.
Well, and just a caffeinated beverage is not going to do you much good on a hot day, right?
No, I would be panicking. As you both know, I am obsessed with making sure there's water within my reach or I'm spiraling.
It's true.
Well, just wait until we get to how hot it actually was.
We're getting like a Woodstock 99 level of terror here for me.
So the train that started all of this, by this point was named the EP Ripley, and it was finished. It was circling the park. It went to all the different lands, and obviously it was what Walt wanted the most. And so a short while before the park opened, some of the workers called Walt and said, hey, the train's ready. Do you want to come over and take it out for its first spin? So he did. He sat in the conductor's seat. And within seconds of the train pulling out of the station, he became irate and started yelling at all his employees, saying, no, it's all wrong. It's all wrong. The problem was, of all things, that he felt the train was too quiet.
God.
Walt insisted that steam-powered locomotives should hiss and chug and make clattering sounds like the ones he remembered, from his youth. But of course, as his employees, I'm sure, tried to explain, those trains were loud because they were old. This train is brand new.
They were broken.
He didn't accept that. And so the Imagineers had to take the entire engine apart and put it together shittily. Put it together badly. They had to make it less tight so that things would rattle and make noise. And it was thought for a moment that the train wouldn't open on opening day, but I'm sure Walt put as much pressure as he could on his poor employees, and it sure was open on opening day.
Wow.
More after this. And now, back to the show.
At this point, the park's finally taking shape, and there's this fun little episode that happens just about a week or so before opening day, where it's Walt Disney and Lily Disney's 30th wedding anniversary, and they decide to hold it at Disneyland. And, I've heard recently that Disneyland is finally selling beer and wine, but as we know, for most of its history, it did not.
Mm-hmm.
And so this was the only time that alcohol was served. Everybody got completely sloshed at the Golden Horseshoe Saloon, which is in Frontierland. And then they boarded the Mark Twain. And then at the end of the night, everybody had to try and take Walt's keys because he was so drunk.
Oh my God.
Wow. Okay. Well, hopefully they got his keys. We'll never know.
So now we're getting to opening day, okay?
Okay, I'm ready.
So on top of this being a theme park of unprecedented scale, on top of it being unprecedented in every other way we can think of, they made what I think is a baffling decision to host the opening day live on TV.
Yeah.
And it was called Dateline Disneyland, this program.
Wow. It's about a double murder. Yeah.
I think it is the first or one of the first of the Dateline franchise because it's on ABC. But because it was so big, they had to fly in extra cameras. First of all, they had to get some from San Francisco. San Francisco ran out, so they had to have some shipped in from Chicago and New York. They had 29 cameras all over the park and miles and miles and miles of cables. Some of the cameras were actually on forklifts so that they could get a crowd perspective and then be lifted up to be above the crowds. Mm-hmm. And all of this looks very unimpressive in black and white, I have to say.
Wow. Wow. Did you watch the actual opening day footage?
I watched some clips. I couldn't bring myself to watch the whole thing. And you'll find out why shortly.
Okay.
Walt, he knew that because things could go wrong, he needed hosts. He couldn't just do it himself. He had been hosting the Disneyland show, but he needed professionals to come in and handle this, especially people who could ad-lib if something went wrong. Mm-hmm. And so he called up Art Linklater, who is a good friend of his, and who he had actually asked to get in on the ground floor of Disneyland and had said no and regretted it the whole rest of his life.
Yeah, I bet.
Linklater brought on 2 extra hosts. One was an actor named Robert Cummings, and the other was referred to as Ronnie Reagan.
Oh, Ronnie Reagan.
There he is.
Here he is.
I knew he was
Henry
coming.
Ford and Ronnie Reagan both appearing in this episode.
Dun, dun, dun.
It's just a trifecta of fascism.
Yeah, really. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, Linklater was later like real close with Nixon and the war on drugs and all that. Yeah. Anyway, we got some fascists in the room.
So Reagan arrived late on the day and he asked the director, John Rich, where's my script? And John Rich said, this is a live broadcast. We don't have a script. And Reagan said, well, what do I say then? I don't know what to say. And so John Rich said, okay, well, you're going to be describing a parade. If you see Mickey Mouse, maybe you say, here comes Mickey Mouse. If Minnie comes, you could say, there goes Minnie. Or this looks like Pluto. But Reagan still just wasn't getting it.
I don't understand.
So he was the only host that had to have specially written note cards.
Oh, God.
And he also insisted on having details about the cartoon character.
Oh, my God. A true politician. Riley, can you do Ronald Reagan as an impression? Riley's very good at impressions.
Hello. Well, here comes Mickey Mouse. And, oh, I suppose there's Pluto. Oh dear, I just don't know.
Very good. Very good.
Thank you. I have written in italics after that paragraph, this man became president.
Important notes.
So we got one more little chapter of Walt being the little sad sack on the final night before the opening. He wandered around the park alone, jotting down on his legal pad everything that was wrong, including small details like they used the wrong color on this sign and things like that. And he finally went to bed at 2 after having a conversation with his wife, Lily, where he said that he would prefer her and his daughters to stay home. His quote is, I don't want any of you women out there. It's going to be a mess and I don't want to worry about you two.
Wow. Wow.
Yep. Charmer.
Really charming.
So finally going to bed at 2 a.m., he wakes up early on the day, July 17th, 1955, and he goes to open his door and it's stuck. He got stuck inside his little apartment, which is located above the firehouse on Main Street. And so he had to yell and scream until somebody heard him and let him out.
Wow. That's a bad omen.
Ominous.
Yeah.
We're airlifting Bush out of Woodstock 99
Yeah,
right now.
seriously.
That's where we are in the timeline.
That's the point we're at.
So the phrase that I haven't used yet that Walt invented for opening day is Black Sunday. That is still what the company internally refers to as the opening day of Disneyland. And I think that's incredibly dramatic, but it's fun. They decided that, it would kind of be a soft opening. It wasn't like fully public. Everybody was invited. So it was mostly like workers who had worked on the park, employees of the studio, and their families.
And Riley, this is before the live broadcast, or is this the live broadcast?
No, this is the day
also?
of the broadcast.
Okay, so soft launch, live broadcast. Okay.
And so we have those people, as well as members of the press, of course, and the news people. And so it's about 15,000 people on the first day. And the Santa Ana Freeway coming into Anaheim was locked in an unprecedented 7-mile backup. So 100-degree weather today, by the way, July 17th, 1955. Imagine you're stuck in your car for hours and hours and hours. You get to Disneyland and the water fountains aren't working.
Ooh, okay.
Not great, huh?
Mm-hmm. Not good.
So the broadcast begins. It's Art Linklater on camera. He's introducing his family. He's introducing other people. He's opening the show and he's waiting for Walt Disney to arrive. And I think maybe one of the very first signs, if it wasn't Disney getting locked in his own apartment, it was the train being slightly late,
Wow.
you know, and they're like, he'll be here any minute. Don't worry. And finally, Disney arrives in what other way, but on the train, driving the train as the conductor in a brand new suit.
They have a conductor's hat on.
That's a wonderful fact I wish I knew.
Yeah.
I don't think so, because
Okay.
I have pictures of him and he's wearing a regular suit.
All right.
But I promise you that he did wear a conductor's hat in other moments of his life. So this is the dedication ceremony. And if you go to Disneyland today, there's a statue of Walt Disney with Mickey Mouse, which as a kid kind of confused me. I'm like, one of these is a real human man. Anyway. The dedication plaque reads what Walt said on that day. And I want to talk about this because I think this is a really bizarre dedication. Here it is. To all who come to this happy place, welcome. Disneyland is your land. Here age relives fond memories of the past, and here youth may savor the challenge and promise of the future. Disneyland is dedicated to the ideals, the dreams, and the hard facts that have created America, with the hope that it will be a source of joy and inspiration to all the world. That hard facts bit feels really odd, doesn't it?
I don't know.
Yeah. Who wrote that?
He did. Walt Disney wrote that.
That's very, I mean, you know, talking about fascism, it's getting fascistic in here with this sort of past you want to return to, you know, this idealized past, because there's not a lot going on in Disneyland that's not an idealized past.
Yeah, it's very true.
And speaking of said hard facts, this is when, well, first of all, some fighter planes fly over, as they do in our country. And then Fess Parker, the actor that was playing Davy Crockett on television, shows up. Art Linklater refers to him first as Fess and then as Davy. And it's like, is he in character or not? They just haven't committed to this bit, which is very irritating.
Is that a real man or a mouse?
And then they ask him, oh, what took you so long to get here, Davy Crockett? And then he told a racist story about how Native Americans made him late.
Oh, God.
Oh, good.
So
yeah.
There's some of your hard facts.
Yeah. Fuck.
There was a bizarre segment during the broadcast. And, you know, if you watch pieces of the broadcast, like there's a lot of like mistakes, like, you know, they cut to the wrong place and then they'll cut to the right place. You know, it's a live broadcast. That's to be expected. But there's this really bizarre cut that happens during the opening festivities where suddenly there's a Mardi Gras segment. They go onto Main Street and there's this, what appears to be a brothel. Huh. There's women women with like fans and, you know, in period kind of sex worker attire in the windows of what is apparently supposed to be a brothel. And it's never been addressed and nobody knows what happened here because, you know, obviously that's very antithetical to Walt Disney's kind of family values Disney park. And it's never been seen since. But it does appear that there was some sort of brothel on the opening day of Disneyland.
Brothel attraction.
Wow.
And then who else comes in front of the brothel and starts dancing to the Dixieland band but an actress named Eileen Lewis in full character as Aunt Jemima.
Wow.
No.
Wow.
Dancing around.
Wow.
And Eileen Lewis would continue playing Aunt Jemima for many years at Disneyland as the hostess of Aunt Jemima's Pancake House. Aunt Jemima's Pancake House.
Wow.
Aunt Jemima's Pancake House.
And for anyone who wants more Aunt Jemima content, we talk a lot about her in the influencers episode that we did a long time ago.
Right.
Because that's a very interesting
And that was
story.
something that happened at the World's Fair too, right?
That is where she was a big part of the World Fair, yeah.
Yikes.
And the kind of striptease thing was big at World's Fairs too.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe that's kind of where this brothel segment comes from.
Interesting.
I will say, too, that if we look at like the Pirates of the Caribbean ride, there is a lot of like implication there around sex work and stuff. So I just think it wasn't.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. It almost like had a kitsch element at that point, which is strange.
Yeah, I don't think it was seen as very immoral. I mean, I think having a brothel would probably be seen as immoral, but the iconography, I think, was just kind of, you know, a little more in our culture.
I guess so.
Which maybe we should go back to that.
Yeah.
So then there's this bizarre cut. We cut right from the brothel to co-host Bob Cummings. And this is a kind of an infamous part of the broadcast because it's widely seen as a mistake. Bob Cummings, we cut to him, and it's apparent that he has just finished feeling up a dancer that looks very upset.
Oh my God.
And it's been hotly debated that this was a bit, but that's never been confirmed. Bob Cummings was in a new sitcom at this time, and people think that it was a bit to promote his sitcom. I don't think so.
Okay. Is it a sexual assault themed sitcom?
Well, most 50s sitcoms were.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I guess that's true.
That's a good point.
Wow. Okay. All right. So things are going really well. Really family friendly.
Limp Bizkit is here.
Remember when I said that Disney decided that it should be a soft opening with only 15,000 people?
Yes.
Yes.
Counterfeiters got involved, selling tickets. And also a man with a ladder set up a ladder against one of Disneyland's fences where nobody could see him and was charging people $5 a head to enter illegally. Wow. An estimated total of 28,000 crowded into the park. Almost double.
Wow.
And no water.
No water.
We love it.
Okay. That's scary.
Give them lighters.
Yeah.
So after hundreds and hundreds of families had spent hours on the freeway in traffic, stuck in hot cars in 100, maybe even 101 degree weather, some sources say, they get into the park and they find that the drinking fountains are not operational. The lines to the food and beverage stands are so long that most people don't even bother. And then when you get to the front of the line, they ran out. They ran out of food and drink.
Oh my God.
And also remember that large rocket in Tomorrowland?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
It was made out of aluminum, and in the hot weather, it would expand and contract. So that thing's just banging and clanging all day.
Oh, God. Okay, that's so scary.
Speaking of Tomorrowland, Disney at one point had decided, okay, doing this whole park is a lot. Let's make Tomorrowland open in 1956 for the second season. Let's hold it off. Mm-hmm. But then, like, kind of at the last minute, he said, no, the whole park's going to be finished. Whole park's going to be finished. So Tomorrowland was pretty much like that rocket and a picnic area. Wow. That's kind of it.
Okay. It's tomorrow, everybody.
But nonetheless, it was included on the broadcast. Bob Cummings says, over to you, Ronnie Reagan. And Ronnie Reagan comes up and says, welcome to Tomorrowland. Here it's the year 1986. 1986, that's way ahead. And that's when Halley's Comet will come flashing by the Earth again.
Wow. But do it with the voice.
Hello. 1986. Oh, that's way ahead. That's when the Halley Comet will be back. And I'll be suffering from dementia.
Wow. Great.
Linklater introduced some celebrities that were participating in the Autopia ride. Have you guys done Autopia?
Oh, yeah.
I've also never done Autopia. We really need to get back there.
Oh my God, get on Autopia.
Yeah, we got to do those lesser rides. I don't remember if I've ever done Autopia.
And it's kind of a controversy now because they're switching to electric vehicles.
Oh,
Since opening day, they've been gas and, smell terrible.
That's part of it. You want your trains banging and clanging. You want to be choking on exhaust on Autopia.
So some of the celebrities that were there included Jerry Lewis and Debbie Reynolds. And then some of the celebrities driving Autopia cars included Frank Sinatra and Sammy Davis Jr., who on live television got into an Autopia car wreck.
Wow.
Sounds like a fever dream.
And then Linklater decides to cap off this segment with this phrase. And of course, the women drivers are given a little special space, just as they are on the highways.
God.
My God.
Stupid.
I would like to say I was in an Uber once and there was this really nice man driving and he was totally great the whole time. And then right before I got out of the car, he was like, you know, if I'm president, the first thing I'm going to do is take away all women's driver's licenses.
Oh my God.
Bye.
Uber drivers.
It was wild.
Sometimes they take some risks.
That's at the top of his agenda.
Yeah.
It's like, that's too much of a risk.
So unexpected.
You can't say controversial things.
Oh, he got 1 star.
We have a star system.
It was so unexpected.
So on top of several rides not operating properly, several of the rides in Fantasyland weren't even ready. I've heard varying reports about whether or not Peter Pan's flight was open, but Mr. Toad was certainly not open. But the rides that were open in Fantasyland had to be evacuated in the middle of the day after a gas leak was reported.
Oh, jeez.
Oh my God. Well, and okay. And something that I'm sure that Disney heads are going to bring up in the comments is the whole gas leak situation with his mom, right? Like, didn't he buy his mom a house with the Snow White money? And then there was a gas leak and she died. And then like all of the parental death in Disney movies is kind of thought to be like because of that trauma.
I forgot about that.
Right. Wow.
So that must have been rough. I don't know where that falls in the timeline or if it's apocryphal.
Yeah, is that true?
No, gas kills mother of Walt Disney, 1938, New York Times.
So that probably,
did you just head straight to newspapers.com?
I just Googled it. But
okay.
But it says that his dad was also in the house, but he survived.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah. Wow. And then I found this report that I wasn't able to verify, but I'm going to say it's true, and I hope it is.
All right, we'll go with it.
That somebody dropped a cigarette by the Sleeping Beauty Castle, and a portion of the ground caught fire. A portion of the asphalt caught fire because of the gas.
Wow.
No.
Scary. Okay. It's getting even more Woodstock 99 in here.
Yeah, every minute. We should really do a Woodstock 99 Disneyland opening day bingo card.
Yeah. That would be fun.
I feel like they have
a lot of
easy. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So the gas leak closed all of Fantasyland, portions of Frontierland, and Adventureland for over an hour in the middle of opening day.
Wow. It feels like that's not long enough to close something once there's been a gas leak.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Gotta make that money. And then on top of it all, the asphalt that had been poured too late because of the protracted schedule and maybe, who knows, maybe Walt's hatred of unions, the asphalt was not properly dry. And there were reports of people's feet sinking into Main Street.
Oh my God.
And women's high-heeled shoes coming clear off their feet as the heels got stuck in the asphalt.
Such a good image.
Yeah.
So on the Mark Twain riverboat, they did a portion of the broadcast. And during the broadcast, a visitor who was being interviewed said, "Oh, the ship is listing." And, the host was like, "Oh, well, that's just part of the ride," or, whatever, but definitely not true. And the crew then had a discussion, and one of them said, "How many people do we have on board?" And the other said, "Oh, I think about 250. And the guy said, "Well, we should make a note for next time that we should probably keep the capacity at 200 because the boat it would list one way and then it would list the other way." And then once everybody was off the ship at the end of the day, they looked at the actual count of how many people were on board. 508 souls. So the Mark Twain riverboat could have easily capsized herself.
Titanic, yeah.
Imagine if that had happened.
Wow.
Could have easily happened. It was way over capacity.
Wow.
Not enough lifeboats, not enough by half.
Half of these people are going to die. Okay.
So that was Black Sunday. Walt described it as a fiasco, the likes of which I cannot recall in 30 years of show life.
Wow.
And it lives on in infamy, but Disneyland quickly recovered. By the end of that month, they were receiving 20,000 visitors a day with no problem. They came up with that ride tier system where instead of paying admission, you would pay for the rides that you wanted to take. So, if you didn't feel like going on the big rides, you could save money. But it ended up making them a lot of money because it had brought in a lot of people. And by the end of 1955, they doubled their earnings. The Disney company had doubled their earnings despite spending all of that money on the park.
Wow. That's crazy. Wow. Do you know anything about like how people reacted to the actual live footage of the first day? Because I'm guessing they didn't show a ton of that. So I don't know like what the impression was versus the reality.
No, they were extremely tactful. Apart from the ones I've mentioned, like, you know, on board the Mark Twain and the brothel segment. No, the broadcast went very smoothly.
Wow.
And it pretty much hid all of the problems.
Wow.
And so, you know, and of course it was an amazing success in advertising the park.
Yeah. And
Disneyland just got bigger and bigger every year. And over the next few years, they've, you know, fixed all of these problems. So if you were to go to Disneyland in like 1958, 59, it would be a full experience. Whereas if you went in 1955, little to be desired, perhaps.
Right. Wow. Wow. Yeah, I guess it was smart, even though it was disastrous to actually film it.
I mean, yeah, in the long run, I mean, the proof's kind of in the pudding in that we've got, 5 Disney parks in the world? Is that right? 6. We've got Disneyland, Disney World, Euro Disney, Tokyo Disney, Hong Kong Disney, and Shanghai Disney.
Wow. Wow. Disney Paris. No, that's Euro Disney. That park sucks. Sorry, guys.
My favorite parody of that on The Simpsons is Euro Itchy and Scratchy Land.
Yeah, yeah.
Where the attendant says, "Hello, anybody? My last paycheck bounced. My kids need wine."
Offensive to our French listeners. Wow. Well,
yeah,
that
guys, that's Black Sunday.
Wow.
Thanks for that train ride, Riley.
Good choice of words, Miranda.
A real rockin'. I mean, I just feel like I was on the Wild Thunder. I always get the name wrong.
Thunder Mountain Railroad.
Thunder Mountain Railroad.
Which is also gone, I think.
No, it's just always closed, which is appropriate.
I think they closed it officially.
I think one, either Disneyland or World is closed, but the other is still open.
Fuck. They're just going to put in some goddamn Star Wars shit and I can't handle it. God. Wow, man, that's terrible. I love the railroad one. And what would Walt think about the precious railroad ride being taken out? It's fucked up.
I don't care.
It didn't get taken out.
I still mourn. Oh, it's still there?
Well, the Disneyland Railroad is still there. It's not the same thing as the Thunder Mountain.
I know. I'm just talking about the theme. All right.
Oh, okay.
Thunder Mountain wasn't, it didn't open until the 70s.
All right. Well, I am very sad about that. I liked that ride a lot, quite a bit.
I still mourn the Tower of Terror. I would like to take a moment.
The Twilight Zone Tower of Terror.
Yeah. And Disneyland.
Thankfully is still in Disney World.
Yeah, thank God.
Which I've never been to.
It's not as good.
Miranda, who was it that stood up for the Terror Tower?
Ariana Grande.
Yeah. She's
You're not supposed to do that.
Well, wait, what do you mean? She wrote an open letter to Disney World just asking them never to take down the tower or replace the Tower of Terror because she was so sad when that happened in Disneyland.
Oh, I thought you meant she stood up on the ride. Like, that's so dangerous.
That would be really dangerous. Wow. Your ass would just hit the ceiling. Damn. Wow.
Oh, God. All right. Well, on that note,
man.
I would like, if any of our listeners have sampled the new Splash Mountain, I'm very interested to hear how it is.
Me too.
The new theming. I'm excited about it. I think it looks pretty cool.
Our roommate Kim went on it and loved it. Said it was fantastic.
That's great.
Mm-hmm. The only critique is it doesn't have a scary part at the end.
Right.
My only critique is I think that it could have still been called Splash Mountain because that's not a phrase used in Song of the South, but whatever.
True.
Right.
But I guess we're going as far away as we can from that.
Sure. And that's fine. The mechanics are still the same.
Yeah. Riley, that was such a journey. I'm really happy that I learned so much about the lead up to the day too. I didn't know we were going to get such a clear picture of what a fucking dork Walt Disney was.
That's really the bottom line here, isn't it?
Yeah. As it so often is.
And someday maybe we'll do a follow-up where we talk about his crazy ideas for Epcot. That might be fun.
I would love that. I would love that. And thank you, Miranda, for joining today in our little team huddle.
Oh my God, it's my pleasure, as always.
So yeah, everybody, if you enjoyed hearing us all interact in this family band, you can hear lots more on Patreon and on Apple Plus if you subscribe. And Riley joins us quite a bit. Riley, can you give us a rundown of episodes you've done that people can listen to over there?
Yeah, the most recent was celebrating the 100th anniversary of the silent movie Phantom of the Opera.
Which was very fun.
Mm-hmm.
I've done multiple episodes about the Beatles and the Beach Boys and the Charles Manson connections and the making of Brian Wilson's crazy album Smile. And I cover the 60s music and the sinking of the Titanic and, and old movies.
Varied interests.
Yeah. As same as you were as a kid. And before we go, I am going to force a quick story on y'all from my childhood. Riley was yet a twinkle in the eye of our mother. But
do I know this one?
Yeah, you definitely do. This is like true family lore.
That would be fun if it was a brand new story to Riley.
No. All right. So I'm 5. I go to Disneyland for the first time. I'm manic. I'm like so overstimulated, as I often am. And my mom and my granny were with me, and they were going and getting food. And I was standing kind of in one of those just like cement areas where you sit, and then there was like a fake waterfall and little pond where I was, and I was chasing birds like a little menace. And this seagull had landed like in the water. I think it was a seagull. It feels like it had to be. Yes. The seagull like had landed in the little pond, and then he kind of took flight right above me. And as I had been doing, I jumped up to kind of like try to grab a bird out of midair. And this time I grabbed both of the seagull's feet and I held onto it, and it was flapping and like, And my mom and granny just tell the story like they just were like, what's that noise? And they looked over, and 5-year-old me was holding onto the legs of a huge bird. And they were like, let it go. So I just wanted to shoehorn that right in there. So if anyone wants to draw that or paint that.
I imagine there being like a hush coming over the crowd. We actually, I have the home movie of you in Disneyland. I should look through and see if there's any like funny 2-second clip we could put up.
Please.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, so join us over on Hysteria Home Companion. And we'd love to have you over there. We always love to discuss the episodes over there. So we really have a sweet little community. And Riley, so happy to have you on the main feed. Finally, it's been a long time coming.
Happy to be here.
See you all soon.
Bye.
Bye. This was American Hysteria. If you enjoyed this Dream Team episode, please consider becoming a subscriber, either at patreon.com/American Hysteria or by subscribing on Apple Plus. You can get a bunch of Riley-directed episodes of our other podcast, Hysteria Home Companion, as well as many more episodes related to the topics that we cover on American Hysteria or stories that we know that you'll love, hosted by myself and Miranda Zickler. You'll also get ad-free episodes. We can always use your support to help keep this show alive. If you go to AmericanHysteria.com, you can pick up some of our merch. 100% of the profits go to the Samir Project, a Palestinian-led mutual aid group on the ground in Gaza, delivering food and supplies to displaced families. So please consider picking up a shirt or a crop top or a bag, or even getting a gift for another listener that you love. All the money goes to a truly incredible group. While you're at AmericanHysteria.com, you can also leave us a message on the Urban Legends hotline about a tale that you remember from growing up, or even one that you've heard recently, and we might do an entire investigation about it. You can follow us on Instagram at American Hysteria Podcast, and another amazing way to help out our show is to leave us a 5-star review on whatever app you use. It's really easy. You could do it right now, and we would be so grateful. American Hysteria's producer is Miranda Zickler. Our associate producer is Riley Swedelius-Smith. Our editor for this episode is Kaylee Jasperson, and I'm your host, Chelsey Weber-Smith. Thanks, as always, for listening, and I hope you have a great